Hi guys, this is going to be a quick tour of my gaming setup, my kind of gaming room I suppose. This room it's kind of 50% work, 50% play, and it's a complete mess because I only recently moved in and this furniture is already here, so I just kind of dumped it all on there. And being a typical gamer, the first thing I did when I moved house was set up my gaming rig and got broadband installed. Screw all the other stuff. That's just the way it goes. The only furniture I have bought so far is a nice new leather chair, which is really comfy, and it's the first nice chair I've ever bought in my entire life. Moving down onto the equipment, this is my work laptop, which my work bought me obviously, and it's pretty good though. I wouldn't normally mention it, but it's a 16 gig quad-core i7, 2.6 gigahertz with a 1 gig NVIDIA card, a 256 gig SSD internal drive, and a 256 gig SSD external drive USB 3. So it's a beast really, or at least it's quite decent. It's the best laptop I've ever had. Then my actual gaming stuff, I've got PS2, which you can see down there actually, and a controller. I've got another controller, Xbox 360 controller, which I actually use on my PC more than my Xbox because I nearly always play on my PC. I've got my Samsung monitor, which is actually the old TV from the living room, but it's got a really nice picture, really good colours, and I like using it on my PC. One thing about my setup is it's really not expensive at all. I basically use all the kind of rejects from different rooms when things are upgraded where possible. I mean, I always like to have good stuff, but my PC itself is actually quite good, but I don't spend much money on everything else. Obviously my chair's now expensive, but whatever. There's a newish keyboard, Microsoft Sidewinder, which is quite good for gaming. My old keyboard is rubbish. Logitech mouse, just nothing special, it's an old one but it works. Cheap microphone, N64, which I really like, and I recently fired it up after many years. It's a great thing about moving house, you kind of uncover all your old stuff that was in the loft and realise that you want to keep it and forget that you had it. Stereo equipment, most of this is free. The speakers are over 20 years old from my parents when they got a new stereo which actually has inferior speakers. I took these big beasts because they sound pretty good, and yeah, they've been with me for so long. I went to university with them, now I've got them in my new house. This Sony CD player was quite expensive back in the day. Someone threw it out. Well, they didn't throw it in a skip or anything. They asked me if I wanted it before they threw it out. I said yeah. Still says new on it, but it's not, obviously. Marantz amplifier. That's actually quite new. That's the only thing I've bought stereo system wise, because I had one for 16 years, an old cheap Sherwood, which is a crap make. But it still sounded good. Lasted 16 years. It cost nothing practically. But it died, and I thought rather than fix it, let's get a better quality one, because the amplifier is really the most important thing, along with the speakers. More important in a way than the actual units that produce the sound. And then at the bottom here is a Yamaha mini disc deck, that was really expensive, but it was free. That's really expensive to the person who bought it. But again, they said, oh, I only use my iPod, so do you want my mini disc? So I said yes please, because I got 2 portable mini disc players as well. I got loads of mini discs, all that music. You know, it's digital, so it's pretty good, and you can obviously wipe them and record over them. This here is my gaming PC. It's pretty huge, I realised. I never really realised how big it was till I put it next to another computer. And considering the computer next to it's an actual server, suddenly I think, wow, my gaming PC is a beast. And funnily enough, it's called The Beast. I've pretty much called everything the Beast these days. But anyway, it's my Beast, and it's, what is it? What's it got? It's a Hex Core AMD Phenom 2, which is about a year old since I put it in. But it's good. 8 gigs of RAM, GeForce 560 Ti, which is pretty good as well. 2 SSDs, so it's pretty fast loading up. 10 seconds, power on to desktop, Windows 7. Moving on to this machine, it's quite interesting because I moved into my new house and I found this in the shed in a cardboard box. And I fired it up, I managed to work out what it was. It's a quad-core HP ProLiant server. It's got RAID array inside it, even though it's tiny. Came with an LCD monitor, keyboard and mouse, so it's a fully functioning, decent performing computer, and I'm going to use this for some kind of project, which I'm sure I'll post up on YouTube. I'm thinking maybe an arcade machine, put MAME emulator on it, maybe put some console emulators, other old emulators. I've got quite a lot of MAME games now, so yeah, I could actually put that into a decent machine, decent gaming machine. Maybe build a cabinet for it. That'll be another project once I've got it all up and running. So yeah, that's a pretty cool thing to find. There's other stuff to put in this room. Got my printer there, which will not be there on the shelf at some point. This shelf is just the junk store. And there's a box for my Alesis QS7 synthesizer, which I use for making music sometimes. So yeah, a very modest and cheap setup really. I didn't spend money on most things, or much money. Even 2 of my 3 consoles were bought second hand off friends, so you know, I'm not the kind of person who rushes out to buy the latest thing most of the time, although I always keep my PC pretty up to date. But everything else, you know, people just throw really good stuff out, like my stereo equipment. It's better than most of the new stuff you could buy, and it cost me very little. I mean, it cost me nothing until I had to buy the Marantz amplifier. I didn't have to buy it, but I bought it because I thought, right, got all this good quality stuff, let's get a decent amplifier. And I got a good price for it as well at the time. It's actually now 50% more expensive than when I bought it, because I got it on special offer. So pretty cool. That's my gaming setup for now, and I will probably make another video when I've put new furniture in, got my Xbox up here and laid it all out neatly instead of this pile of junk.